Hello everyone, welcome to the channel today. So in today's reading, we're going to do a reading around you, about you, from you to you. So you could see this as a message from your higher self to you, maybe your future self, about a situation you're going through now, something to help you move through any challenges or even enjoy the bountifulness of whatever's going on in your life. It's something to help you anyway today and moving forward, or whenever you're watching this video. So let's pick some piles. So this is a message from you to you, essentially. Got pile 1, I'm going to take this one. Okay, 3 and 4. Okay. So for pile number 1, you have the Carnelian with the message self-trust, relationship rejuvenation, powers of concentration and healing from abuse. For pile number 2, you have the golden or gold sheen Obsidian with personal power, spiritual manifestation, earth healing and new experiences. Pile 3, you have the red Jasper with nurture, determination, relaxing and tranquility. And for pile 4, you have the black Obsidian with strength, support during changes, everyday stress relief and clears negative energy. So these are going to be your 4 piles today. So feel free to go into the description and jump straight to your video. I'll give you some time and space to meditate on whichever pile is calling to you, or multiple piles if that is true to you now. But this is a message from yourself to yourself, something to help you along your path. Hello pile number 1, welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen the Carnelian with self-trust, relationship rejuvenation, powers of concentration and healing from abuse. So when this popped up, I thought it was quite funny that the first card had self-trust when we're doing a reading from yourself to yourself, a message from yourself to yourself, and with it saying self-trust, believe in yourself. So I'll put that up here and we'll pull some cards. Okay, so message for pile 1. Okay. So these ones here can come through reversed. Okay, definitely this one, and I'm seeing this one here. I'm going to take these 2 here. I'm going to turn over the oracle cards first. Then we'll have a look at your tarot. So you have the Hermit, retreat to recharge. Talking about relationship rejuvenation and powers of concentration. Literally showing what looks like to be a yogi or just someone who's meditating in an isolated area. Retreat to recharge. Yeah, definitely a good time to heal, right? We've got healing from abuse. It doesn't have to be exactly abuse, but it can be like toxic environments. Sometimes if you go to sometimes going to a really nice place or like a really fancy place with a lot of people just drains your energy, right? Depending on who you are. Carnelian always makes me think of self-empowerment, and this is getting that energy back to you, taking back your power, your energy from others. So yourself or your higher self or whatever you want to connect this with, is just reminding you that your energy might be out there and to bring it back into you, bring it back to you. Okay. You also have the slave. This is interesting. It's kind of disempowering in a way. It's not saying you will be, it's saying what is making you feel this? What is making you need to rest and recharge? Is this like an energetical, it's not like a vampire, it's just like an energetical vampire, and I know that gets used a lot, but it's not that, it's more like where am I letting my energy go, like consensually, right? Freely. Where do I need to pull it back into myself? But there is a light attribute to the slave. It says here, surrender your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. And that kind of aspect doesn't feel like just surrendering, like waving the white flag. It just means kind of letting things from the past or things that you have no control over be, letting that be. But know that you're not alone with this. This is a message from yourself to yourself, right? So it feels like it's, regardless of what you believe, it feels like your team around you, your ancestors, your higher self, you're not in this alone. So you don't have to be like a kind of like just pulled in many directions. This feels like scatteredness, which is really why this hermit is coming through and why it kind of, I was talking to that bringing back your energy so you can feel more empowered rather than just someone that's going through the motions, right? And just things just happen. It's like, oh, this kind of stuff always happens to me. It's just going to keep happening. It's starting to reclaim your power and command back to you. Like this, getting into this energy. Light attribute is enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those you are in your charge. The shadow is excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. This does feel like part of you, right? And we can almost flip into many different archetypes, really. Many different feelings, things like that. Cards are never going to give us the emotional selves, dimensional selves, mental selves, physical selves. Like we change and shift in all different directions all the time because we're always growing and changing our plans, our ideas, our thoughts, etc., etc. But this feels like bringing back your power. Like this is your power here, and he's kind of bringing it back into not in a greedy way or in a like obsessive way. It's more in a like, this is not someone else's energy to play with or have fun with. I can assist them, but I'm not going to give my power away over. So definitely about recalling your energy for sure in this reading, pile 1. In a really nice way, because the hermit, kind of like the hermit card in tarot, is going within to get enlightenment or get understanding, right? And this is going within to recharge, to understand where am I putting my energy, what's going on, are things moving too fast for me, do I need to slow down so that I can move forward with purpose rather than just moving, you know what I mean, just going like the slave in this picture. Okay. You also have teachers. This is reversed. This is learning a new path. It's interesting that it's reversed because it's kind of like not feeling like you have any control. Control is an interesting one because we can see it as a negative thing, like being controlling. But this doesn't feel like that. This is almost kind of like giving away power too easily. Even the light attribute kind of feels a little bit off for some reason. But it is teacher. I want to see what this card is and I'll have a look. Okay, makes sense. Like I was saying before with your ancestors, past life guides are a bit different, right? Because when you stop and think about it, it's like, are these old guides? Did we have the same guides going into this life? Some people believe different things. Regardless, it doesn't matter too much. It's not about who they are, what they were, what you did, etc., etc. It's about who you are now in this moment, what you're doing now in this moment. and what you choose to move through and change, or what you're drawn to from like at a soul level. And maybe these guides are coming through again to say, certain things we've gone through in the past, don't have to relive those or have those old fears. Even if it was in this life, they're like, you can grow and shift and move out and expand beyond such kind of expectations that other people have or that you have on yourself. So I like the self-trust. It's like literally believe in yourself. I feel like not just guides, but there are people on planet Earth that are here to assist as well. So it's not like you're recalling your power to disengage, like isolate. It's more like to get your energy back so that the people that have something to offer you, let's say, in regards to self-growth or self-improvement or even work or just whatever, like learning, like some kind of way you want to expand in life. It really feels like it opens up that door within. But it's like this for now until you understand where your energy is at the moment. Who's taking a lot of your time. And when I say that, I mean it in a way that's not helpful or positive, right? They may not be doing it purposefully, so you can always recall it, bring it back into yourself. And that's just by taking some mindfulness, I guess. It's like sitting down and being like, where is my energy? Like, what am I putting my energy into, number one? It's not saying who is to blame. It's more like, what am I putting my energy into that's not giving me that energy flow back? Is it this aspect, this person? Am I putting too much of my mental energy in a thought of a person at work who's not in my space all the time, but just they're irritating, right? It's like they're taking your energy, but you're also giving it to them while you're not even in their presence, in their space, just as an example. It's a lot of like just understanding that clarification, so you can bring back your power and be able to assist yourself and then others, right? You've got to look after yourself so you can be at your best for others. Interesting. There's powers of concentration here again, popping up with this. Okay, you want to pop out. So what else does power number one need to hear? I'm going to take, oh, okay, you want to come out. I want to take this one as well. I just feel like it wants to pop out. Okay. So we'll start with it. Got the 9 of Pentacles. This is feeling your regal self. It's kind of like you are a king, energy, regardless of gender, anything like that. It's like you are opulent, right? You are. It's not like you're fancy, but it's kind of like you are worthy or regal, or have that gracefulness about you. And sometimes when we're stuck in many different things, we miss out on our true essence. I guess we forget about our majesty, I guess it's the way it's kind of coming through, especially with this card just popping up. It really does kind of tie in with the king, because it's about worthiness and feeling like, look at the little snail slowing down, even the bear slowing down because they hibernate, right? They're not built for like high-speed chase or anything. I'm sure they could, but then they're not a cheetah, that kind of thing. So it's just about connecting with self again to remember who you are. That's really where this is coming from. Got the 4 of Cups, disappointment, 7 of Cups, okay. 4 of Pentacles, so we got 4-4. And the Ace of Swords. I'm going to leave that here. Okay. Yeah, there might be a few kind of things here going within. I think this is very progressive though, because I feel like you've already healed a lot of stuff. There's healing from abuse. I don't know if it's something that is necessarily abuse, but this healing aspect from challenges has definitely been a path, right? It's been a road. But it also shows resilience and growth. So with these coming through, you don't have to hold back, I want to say, or focus your energy on potentially losing something, because he's kind of like hoarding in a way, or just worried that someone might take what he's got. But even this card, the Four of Pentacles, traditionally is like high class. Like there's another aspect of like opulence and riches and wealth, right? So sometimes I guess, and when the Rider-Waite Smith, maybe that kind of view was that kings, queens, that kind of thing hoarded their stuff in a sense. And it's a reminder to share the wealth, or like keep the flow of energy going within yourself and also with others. Like keep things flowing and understand where your energy is, not just where your energy is going. This one's a slightly different. It's like, is there a flow of sending something out, like giving time, space, money, whatever out, and is that energy coming back to you? Same thing, time, space, money. Like is it like a cohesive flow of energy? But how do you do that? Not worrying about what might happen or what you might lose. Really looking, I think they were this way. Really looking at like, what is actually important to me at this moment? Because when there's lots of options, it's like, what internally do I need to focus on now that's going to help me and help others? Internally, externally. Again, you're not alone in this. You can trust your intuition, your higher self, your guides will send you messages or send you whatever you need while you're thinking about this to understand what's really important. Because there are lots of options, right? There's lots of different things we could work on. Whether it's like past issues, whether it's like focusing on career, whether it's focusing on love, self-love, external, finding someone, like a relationship, that kind of thing. It could be, there's many different roads we can kind of look at. So instead of just walking and seeing what happens, really thinking about what's important to us now in this moment, because things change. The world changes, so we change our thoughts and feelings too, but it's got to be correct. And like here with the thoughts and feeling changes, like there's a new path for sure. Looks like this wreath is kind of popping up here. I don't know if this is like success or if it's peace, but this is balance. Balance within, balance, you'll see. Like balance within, like this feels within, and then balance without, like on the outside. So I feel like your message to yourself from yourself is really about finding balance by being mindful about where your energy is, where your thoughts and feelings are out there, like where they are, who they're with, why they're there. Are they meant to be there? Is there something that we can kind of shift with that? Because we can worry about certain things happening for like the rest of our lives, right? Especially if we're like children, we can worry about where they're going, even when they're like in their 30s, 40s. We worry. We can worry, but why spend that energy worrying on something that we can't shift or change? People are going to make their own decisions. We can do what we can, but we can't control what people do and say and think and feel. So a lot of support here from guides. It feels like this isn't just like a message from yourself to yourself, saying you're just dealing with yourself. It's like your higher self, your guides, your past life guides even coming through with like a message. But know that you're not stuck. You're not a victim of circumstance, I want to say. Every day we learn and grow and learn new things and write a new page in our book of life, right? If you want to use that kind of metaphor. And if there's something here that's disappointing or not bringing you abundance or happiness, understand why and what that means and what that's about. Because I think that'll help. Even just acknowledging it and clarifying it. The first, what is it? there's acceptance, like accepting or acknowledging that you have an issue or a problem, or this is an issue or this is a problem, is like the first step to kind of working on it, healing it, removing it, upgrading it, whatever, you know. It depends on what that is. It's not like, this isn't about specificity. This is about what is important to you at this moment. I do want to pull another card for the teacher. I just feel like there's something extra here. Just because it's teacher. It's just an interesting one. Yeah, but you deserve all the good things in life too. This isn't just about telling you what to do. It's really about finding your happiness, peace, fulfillment, your kind of regalness. For some reason it keeps coming through with like regalness. I don't know, maybe you are a king or a queen. Okay, so teacher. Okay, so you've got the shapeshifter with transform and unveil your gifts. This is of the self. It's like this is now coming up with like the Seven of Cups and this teacher. It's not external, it's you. It's you teaching yourself. It's like learning from yourself, learning your own lessons, learning from the past mistakes or perceived mistakes, right? Sometimes we go down a path and we're like, well, we wasted 5 years of a relationship with someone. Why would you see it as a waste? You learned so much from it being in that connection. And you're able to, you know, it ended or it moved on. This is just an example, but it's like there's lots of learning there. And every time you grow and learn, you really do unveil your gifts. You unveil your strength of character. You unveil like your ways of being able to talk to people or better understand what you deserve in a relationship or whatever. You know, there's so many like particular things you can learn or unveil gift-wise, not just gift-wise, but personality-wise, and in every aspect of life. And we really do become like a shapeshifter in a sense because we learn so much. So externally, if we're looking from the outside looking in, we'd be like, wow, this person's gone through quite a lot. I don't always appreciate it, but you know, you start to give gratitude to yourself from yourself as well. Because I feel like this reading being from yourself is giving you gratitude and appreciation. So make sure you do that and remind yourself as well. Okay, really nice read. Hopefully you have enjoyed. But that's what I see in your cards today, pile number 1. So thank you very much for being here. Please take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen gold or golden Sheen Obsidian, or golden or gold Sheen Obsidian, with personal power, spiritual manifestation, earth healing, and new experiences. Okay, so we'll see how this comes through. Remember, this is a message from yourself to yourself. I feel like this is a bit more of, you know, energy. I don't know how to say it, but it's like a strength. Remembering your strength, or starting to like put that high octave energy into action. So we'll see what comes through though. Just with that card, it literally just feels like that straight away. Okay, so pile number 2, please. These two. Okay. So what message do you need to hear from yourself to yourself? Sometimes we need these like wake up calls, right? Because we can get into a slump or into a way of being like, well, this is working, this will do. And it's like, sometimes we say no to ourselves. We're like, no, there's actually something to say. So I'll start off with your oracle cards. There we go. Utilizing that power. What did I say? This High Priestess card talks about harness mystic powers. So this is like the real you, like the more, I guess you could say, magical side of yourself, but it's more like the stuff that's not been put into a box by your gender or your sexuality or your job or your race or the country you live in, right? It's more than that. It's not like all the little things that have kind of shaped you to who you are, but there's always like a core kind of like purpose and reason and draw, and letting that shine, tapping into that and letting that, bringing that out. You could even think of it like the high priestess in tarot. It's like the intuitive aspects of self, but also unlocking more of yourself, unlocking more of who you are. Again, personal power, finding your strength, I guess, is really where I wanted to start off with. Okay, so let's take a look at these ones. So you have the damsel card. Yeah, this is a time to step away from the damsel card, or step away from the waiting and stepping into action. The good thing about the damsel is she understands, like it says here, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. This is about you. This is your time. This is about you. New experiences. This might be new for some of you, but I feel like this is old. It's just like you tapping back into that energy of like self-empowerment. Okay. I like this. You also have the mentor. Mentor light attribute is passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. I'm going to say this is different for everyone. Remember, this is a collective read as well. So while it is from yourself to yourself, take what resonates. But this one feels a bit split in the sense of coming of age to a certain point in your life, regardless of your actual age, but through experience, being able to ensure that you tell your story or radiate your experiences in a healthy, positive way, right? And not in a reactionary, toxic way. It's just like starting to be that inspiration to others, which is really nice. The shadow attribute is inability to allow students to move on to a role of master, imparting false instructions. I don't think it's false instructions, it's just be mindful of what you do and say, because people pick up on that, especially younger people and that kind of thing. So make sure what you express is your truth, not what society is saying is right, or in this age we do it this way. Just be you, and that'll help others pick up on that. And even if it's not for them, that kind of way of being, that's okay. They're inspired more by, oh, you don't have, like, this person doesn't, I don't have to be a particular way. They're not acting in a particular way because we're told like this is the box you fit in. I'm not going to do that too. I don't want to be like this, but I'm going to be myself, and that's exactly what you want. And letting people, go through their own kind of trials and learnings and that kind of stuff. And if you are kind of more on the younger side of like learning and that kind of thing, finding the people that resonate with you or you can aspire to be within like with purpose, right? It's not just like, oh, they're a movie star, I want to be a movie star. It's like, what about them in like a real sense inspires you? It's hard because we can only see kind of like what's shown on TV and cameras and that kind of thing, but that's okay. There's still things to be learned from, even characters like Cinderella or Ariel. Like there's lots of like learnings from their particular ways of living, right? Their ways of choosing what they wanted and how they got there, etc. Not just those particular Disney characters, they just popped in my head, but any kind of character, even ones that we see play on our favorite sitcoms or whatever. It's not to match them, it's to just see that they're living their truth. I don't want to be that person, I want to be me. How do I live my truth? What's my truth? So you've got thought vibrations, very much so what I was talking about here. What you do and say, you know, a child is listening, or someone else is overhearing, or like they're impacted by that. So words count, actions count, emotions count. So you've got resonant choices, signature signals. So thought vibrations is choosing loving thoughts in a sense, and I know probably that's like, oh, roll eyes, but it really is like, why have negative thoughts about certain things? You can do, right? If something in your life it's actually like true, you can have that towards that. But then it's not about keeping that there, it's about disconnecting from that, because it's like, well, that person's doing their own thing. That's got nothing to do with me. It doesn't actually impact me. I'm going to let that go. Or like someone's opinion about me isn't any of my business. I'm going to let that go because that's their false narrative that they're trying to create. I don't buy it, therefore I don't need to pay attention to it. So just be mindful of what you want to create in life, I guess. Wow, you're going really deep with your reading today, pile number 2. I guess because you can handle it. Not that the other readings you couldn't handle it, the one before, but it's just like, you can handle this. Gone through far harder things than this reading, right? Alright, and so you also have Divine Presence reversed. This is the force of love and creation. And it feels like seeing that within yourself. You can still have your hard, strong, and like tough. You can still be all those things. You can also be like your true self, your emotional self. You know, it's not like you have to hold on to that exterior to lose something, because if it's broken, it exposes you. It's just about really being real, I feel, with this card, and creating what's going to bring actual goodness in the world around you and within yourself, not worrying about what other people might think about it. And you might be like, well, I don't care what people think. But I feel like in some sense there is this like worry still. You can say that, but how do you feel about that? I'm not trying to say you are doing anything wrong. It's really just about understanding more levels and layers of yourself, because that helps us come up to an upright position where you're creating exactly what you want to see in the world, not worrying about feeding the stuff that you don't want to see. It might even pay to stop listening to certain songs or watching certain shows or turning off the news occasionally, right? Just giving yourself some space to really feel into your actual personal power, your magical self, creative, expansive kind of self. This might be your higher self giving you this reading. Because whatever this is about, you are a natural teacher, and if you're quite young, you're probably going to be like a natural teacher. It doesn't mean you have to do a teaching job. It's just you are influential by just being yourself. So you want to make sure that you are being yourself while being influential, right? You don't want to be a mask of something else that might look good for now. Oh, okay. What a reading. What a reading. Didn't expect that from the golden Sheen Obsidian. Okay, so let's take a look at your tarot cards. So what does yourself have to say to yourself? So you've got the Ten of Pentacles. I like this because it really does show self-empowerment through the generation. That makes sense. Overcoming adversity and challenges, because you have obviously gone through many different type of archetypes, right? Like different types of feelings and challenges, and sometimes we were like, let's say, felt like we're in victim, and then we go into the opposite, right? Being the aggressor, not trying to victimize people, but just trying to make sure we're not victimized. And then it's like wall after wall after wall. But regardless, whatever you try to, choose things that help you and family and bring in the good stuff in life, right? The things that really matter, the feelings that really matter, the thoughts that really matter. You also have the Wheel of Fortune. Really nice with that card coming through. It's like good shifts. It feels like just the changes, the cycles we have in life are always shifting and changing. There's always some kind of change. There's like the snake here. Sometimes it can be seen as toxic, or it can be seen as regenerative, right? It's like releasing. There's like a toxic side, and then there's a change side. So make sure you want to release the toxic traits, or even the toxic people around you, whatever you've taken on, right? Just make sure it's pure in you. Okay. Also have the Ace of Swords. This popped up in the last reading as well. And you have the Ten of Swords. So interesting, like a lot of tens, a lot of endings and a lot of cycles finishing up for you in many ways, maybe internally, externally, like, relationships changing, jobs changing, ways of life changing, religion changing, whatever, belief systems changing. And then internal, like you changing your thoughts, your mind, your emotions, understanding like a more deeper aspect of self. Let the things that you no longer want to keep go. Let them free. It's not like cut it off. It's more like just let it be. I didn't mean it as a pun, but I think this is a wasp anyway. But just let it be. I don't know why that's funny to me. Make sure whatever you choose as your resonant thought vibrations, like your signature signals, make sure that they're ones chosen by you, not for you. And when I say by you, not for you, I mean like other people saying, this is just an example, but just like other people believing you're like tough and strong and impenetrable and stuff, and like really you are that, but you're also like emotional and loving and caring and nurturing, right? Make sure you aren't just taking on that persona because someone's like pushed that on you or assumes that of you. What they assume is none of your business. You create who you are, and you express who you are by doing that and understanding more about yourself. Okay, so a lot of like self-empowerment here. I'll just see if there's any other messages. I want to see what this force of love and creation is coming through. I feel like this is you, essentially, as like you're not a part of something or separate from, but you are like, the creator. You are the source of love and creation. So express that in the truest form that feels right to you. Okay, I think I've already answered the question, but I'll just see if I just want another card for some reason. Why not grab another card? Okay, feels good though. This does feel like an empowering reading. I almost feel better. Okay, cool. Yeah. Medicine Guardian, be open to healing information. Be receptive to this message, as well as be open to help yourself, however that is. If that's medically, if it's like spiritually, is it like energetically, whatever it is. Is it from the past, releasing some of that stuff that really kind of puts you here, because that's how you can open up not just a better way of living, but it's like it opens up like positivity and positive things coming in, positive shifts and changes, or even be able to see the silver lining in the cycles, the difficult ones, the unknown ones, the new ones that will come up. But you are supported, for sure. This feels like your higher self coming through for this reading. Maybe your angelic guides, they can be kind of like Stern, right. Sometimes we see them as like loving and caring, and they are, but they're also like, well, certain ones have definitely more no nonsense. They'll give you the tea, let's say. But I really hope this has helped you, pile number 2. Thank you so much for being here. Please leave a comment if you have any questions about this, because I know it was kind of like digging deep in. But the message to yourself from yourself is really about being true to who you are, understanding what aspects of you want to let shine, and let them shine. Don't let your power be dictated by the past or by others. It's really your power, and you know that anyway. You already know this. Okay, thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen the red Jasper with nurture, determination, relaxing, and tranquility. I just want to say, while I was shuffling, because I shuffle after each reading, the cards just to get the next pile's energy into them. And this is a message from yourself to yourself, and I feel like if you were also drawn to the Carnelian, pile number 1, then feel free to check that out as well. I don't know if the message is going to be same or similar, but I just needed to say that. I think maybe the message will be different, so that's why they wanted to like just go to say it now kind of thing. Alright, so a message from yourself to yourself. We'll look up this one. Okay. It's flying out today. It's interesting, there's like an aspect of like rush for some reason in this. So I'm just going to slow it down. I don't know if it's me or if it's the cards. But we'll just chill. So a message from yourself to yourself. I want to take this one. Okay, let's take a look at the Oracle style cards first. So you have Air Guardian with shift your perceptions. Really interesting. This is about seeing things from many different angles. Maybe some of the stuff you have on your mind, you've cycled through it in your mind. It's just seeing things from the other person's perspective or from many perspectives, just so you might not change your mind, and that's fine. But if you're open to viewing things from many different angles or from a higher position or even from like the ground position, then you might get more insights into what's happening or why things are happening the way they are or where your energy is. So interesting one. Let's have a look. You also have reverse letting go of urgency. This does talk about surrender, freedom of time constraints. The interesting thing with reversed, it does feel like, sorry, it doesn't, that kind of got tongue-tied a bit, but it does feel like it's not 100% letting go of anything that you must do. It's letting go of the need to feel like you need to do something. That's kind of like how it's feeling. It's like, I need to be busy because if I'm busy doing something, I'm doing something, right? I don't have to like focus on whatever else might be more important, might be where you need to put your energy. But if you've always got something on the go, then you don't have to focus on that. Interesting, we'll see. Okay, so you've got the healing heart with love, acceptance, and romance. Maybe this is the reason why you don't want to, like, you want to keep yourself busy. I don't know if this is like looking for someone now or in the future, or if this is healing from past connections, maybe things that didn't feel very comforting. You know, it's like not being hugged or by a particular parent, or not feeling that emotional connection, or there's something there. Maybe it's physical, maybe it's emotional, or like maybe it's certain words that were said. Oh, I think your higher self or yourself really wants to touch on more deeper issues than just the surface, which can be tough but rewarding. I think it'll help with your self-reliance and also with peace of mind. Okay, interesting. You got the Mystic coming through. Such an interesting card. I don't know why, but there's something about this that's feeling like... It's weird. I'll just read the card before I get into it. But it's got revels in intimate union with the divine. The shadow attribute is delusional rapport with the divine. So I don't think you have like a delusional rapport, because from what I understand, maybe this will change one day, but they were all aspects and part of divine source or creator or God, whatever you want to call it, or them. You know, this is really, really about connection with self and understanding of self. The interesting thing with this is like feeling like, for some reason, it's like looking outside of self to find who you really are, but really it's all about looking within. In here, deep within emotions as well, and feelings, not just like heart space. It's like who you are. I do like this though. You've got the student coming through. It says here humility. Yep, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. And that's exactly why you're here. If you were ever wondering, probably weren't, probably already know, but it's like, it's about experiencing. It's about not just doing, but understanding and appreciating and learning from the stuff that has occurred or been a challenge or been like amazing. As humans, we really do focus on negative, right? If you look in, if you do a post or something on Instagram, and you might get 10 nice comments and one negative, you may or may not, right? But a majority of people will focus, even including myself, will just have it focus on the negative and then have to go through a process of releasing that and trying to like not let it ruin your day or get in your head, right? It's like, why is this? Why did they have to say this? Why this? But we can't control what people do. People are just going to do what they're going to do, right? So, anywho, just remembering that there's so much learning here. There's so much like things you can learn from every life event, positive and negative. And I know now we don't really say positive or negative because it's all learning, but sometimes some things do feel negative at the moment. And then in the future, we're like, thank goodness that happened, because it meant that I moved away from this town or got out of this relationship that was toxic, you know, or whatever. So what is the message? Oh, I'm going to take these ones. Not you. Oh my goodness. I want to take this one and this one. I feel like this one wants to come out. They're all kind of like popping out. Okay. I know this one's there. I'll have a look at it in a moment. So you've got the Three of Swords. Yeah, we're coming back to like the harsh stuff, the challenging stuff. You don't want to just dive into something to escape, I guess, is really where these are coming from. You don't want to just put your energy into things that are separate from self or outside of self, unless they have purpose, right? But if they're just doing it to avoid something that's challenging, then you know, maybe it's time to take that look into it. Because even her face is kind of like determined. You've got determination here, but it's also like, you know, she's kind of like looking at you like, okay, it's time to start focusing on this or looking this way, looking at this thing from the past. Okay, yeah, you're getting, it's kind of reading like a storybook in a sense. You've got the Three of Swords, which is about heartbreak and challenges, right, and difficulty. and loss sometimes. And then here we've got the Queen of Swords, which is intelligent and witty. Of course, she still has her personality, but she knows what's right for her, what's wrong, what's not wrong for her, but what she doesn't need in her life. And she can, cut away that which does not serve or does not work for her, because she's an owl. She's smart. She's like knowledgeable. She still has like this little peacock feather kind of has like an air of death in a way for some reason. I don't know why, but it's just like there's like an air of death which feels like not death, passing away or anything like that, but it's like release and letting go of like the death card, transition, change, that kind of thing. But this is more in your capable hands. Okay. Interesting. You also have the Knight of Pentacles. This is giving you space and time to consider and work on this at your own pace, not at a pace that anyone sets but you. And you've got the Star card, which is really, really nice. I like that she's kind of stepping out of the water and into the like expansiveness of, like, she's coming out of one medium or one environment into the next. So it's like a level up for you. You might be going through a transitional change, leveling up in a sense. This does normally talk about hopes and dreams coming true, or wishing upon a star, or like working towards a goal. And I think that's true, but it's more than that. There's more aspects to that than just that. This feels changing, like a shift in your paradigm, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then you've got the Moon card coming out. I think the Moon card also came out in pile 1, so again, if it calls to you, go back there and have a look at that as well. But this is slightly different in a sense, because again, she's coming out of the water, and she's coming out of the clouds, right? So it does feel like there's this shift and change in life, and it can be kind of scary, because the moon is about not knowing, not seeing everything, so trusting your intuition with what's right. The Queen of Swords is about cutting away what doesn't serve you, knowing what's right for you, and releasing what no longer serves you. So it could be like an old relationship that you hold on to certain aspects and still angry about, right? It's like working through that at a pace that's, right for you. You're not being rushed. You literally got the Student, the Healing Heart, and the Knight of Pentacles. These are slow but progressive cards. Even him being a tree, it's like a learning, a branch, a leaf falls down. It's like a cycle. You're still your wacky and wonderful way, like you. This is just more making sure that is shown to yourself and to others. It's getting into a much smoother, relaxing environment instead of a busy kind of, I don't have to focus on this because I've got all this work to do. There's plenty of time for self-care and internal growth. I kind of want another card for the Mystic, so I'm going to pull a card for that. I feel like the Mystic is really talking about working on internal, more so than trying to find the external to fix the internal, because the external is not going to do that. It's kind of like we can help someone, right? We can, like, this is just an example, but we can buy a homeless person a house, give them money and stuff, and a job and all this other things. But if they don't want it, they can just like burn down the house, quit the job, throw the money away. You know what I mean? It's like we can do as much as we can for others, or even for ourselves, but we have to choose to take it. I guess the easier kind of example would be you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know what I mean? It's definitely that. That's kind of where this is. No one externally is going to be able to help you, and you can't necessarily help others. You can help, but you can't get them across the line. They have to take those steps. They have to acknowledge their things and that kind of thing. And so you don't want to be holding on to something that is based off whether another person does something, accepts, apologizes, whatever. It's time to shift away from that. yeah, so you have, I like that you've got the Mystic and the Stargazer, very kind of like magical human beings. But anyway, Stargazer, set your sights higher. Yeah, you deserve, not, I don't want to say better, but you deserve to go for what's more important to you, what's more hopeful, caring, expansive, real to you, and starting to get rid of the stuff that's just tag-alongs, right? They're just nothing. I do like all these lovely cards coming through. But set your sights higher. Don't limit yourself or your life to anything other than, you know, kind of perfection in a sense. Not that we ever reach that, but why not aim for that? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, pile number 3, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Otherwise, take care of yourself. Enjoy whatever comes through with this, because this is about helping you, not about me or about anyone else in the world or about, I don't know, family, friends, anything like that. It's about you at the moment and making sure you are in the best state or in the best way you can be for yourself and for others. Anyway, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen the Black Obsidian. So there was 2 Obsidians with the pick pile, so it was really interesting. That's never happened before, so interesting. This one's a bit different though. The Black Obsidian, I don't actually know how the Golden Obsidian is actually formed, but growing up in a country in New Zealand where there's lots of volcanoes, volcanic glass is this called, or Black Obsidian, really was abundant, I guess, or was available to have. Brittle or fragile, right? But very like shiny, because it's like the way it's formed is by being ejected out of the volcano, which is really hot, and then cooling really quickly, so it gets that kind of like, I guess, tempered, like almost like when you temper chocolate. It gets that sheen rather than just boiling it and letting it set. That like quick cooling gives it that shiny coating. So hopefully I haven't made you want chocolate, but anyway. So you've chosen Black Obsidian with strength, support during changes, everyday stress relief, and clears negative energy. Okay. So let's take a look at your cards today. So a message from yourself to yourself. It is this card, okay. I was thinking it was, but sometimes I'm like, see. Okay. So for this reading, you can take it as yourself, as in you or your higher self, like the highest version of yourself. Sometimes it might be your guides. You know, take how it resonates. Take what resonates with all readings from every channel, right? And leave what does not. Sometimes it's not about getting something, it's about learning or understanding more about yourself. Okay, so let's take a look at your cards. So here are your oracle cards. You have Arrow, and it says here, surround yourself with protective energy. Really interesting with the Black Obsidian. We'll see what else comes through, but I hope you're not around toxic people, like family members, friends, enemies. I don't know, you know, like challenging people. Not necessarily enemies, right? But just difficult personalities, let's say, in the nicest way we can. Yeah, okay. You also have Archangel Regale reversed. Archangel Regale is like relationship harmony. That's how I always see him. It talks about justice, harmony, and solutions, but I always see him in like relation to relationships. So reversed, it's like disharmony and potentially a close connection or something like that, which may be why you need to have strength, right, or support during a breakup or a relationship. Maybe it's not like a relationship that's happened recently. It's just like a connection from the past that's like come back into your mind, or they've stepped back into your vicinity of life in some way. But we'll see what else comes through. Yeah, makes sense. You also have mindfulness reversed. This is talking about peaceful presence, quiet mind. Not today. It doesn't mean you have to be like you should be like this. It's not saying that. It's more saying like something's come up and it might be a past connection or something like that, or maybe a relationship now that's starting to like, it's becoming complicated is the best way I can put it. This black obsidian will really help clear some of that stress. This reading might help slow down a few things. And hopefully help give you insight into how to move through this period of life, I guess, is the best way of putting it, is best way of saying it. So you have the rebel. I do like this though. This gives me hope. This gives me like empowerment, and this is why you need the strength, because it's worth it. Rebel, I do like rebels because rebels always are like the people that change things, and I think that's just part of my nature in a sense, is like not buying into anything really, like questioning everything as to why we do things like this. Why do we celebrate this holiday? Why do we separate like male and female do this or more often, or this more often, and we just kind of, why are we boxing everything up into nice and little neat packages? That's not a real thing. You know what I mean? And this is where the rebel's coming through, and I feel like this is getting into this power, and it's worth, I feel like whatever this is worth it. It's worth processing this, getting out of this, testing this, questioning whatever this is about. You know, go forward. Like, she's doing her own thing in a couch in this tree. I wouldn't want that, but I'm not her, she's not me, right? She's doing her. The light attribute is challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. Love it. The shadow is rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebel out of peer pressure or fashion. That's true as well. You know, sometimes you'll see, it's funny because it's like wanting to be unique or something. Like, this is just like a mindset that even I've had from like when I was in high school or college, which we had in my small town, because we didn't have like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but anyway, we didn't have middle school and high school because it was too small, so they were joined and it was just called college, even though it wasn't like university style college. But anyway, it's like you don't want to try to be unique by following a trend, because that's not uniqueness. If the trend is something that you enjoy, follow it, right? But the rebel is about finding their own kind of rhythm and beat and following that. Interesting, the Hermit. Such a dark card. I haven't pulled the Hermit from this deck before. This feels a bit different to the usual Hermit. Sometimes I feel like the Hermit is about regeneration, recharging, giving space, time, recharge, or going within to come up with like the right option for themselves. This feels different. This does kind of feel like a mixture of that, but also there's like an aspect of being stuck, and it's not a great thing. It's almost like isolation, but and you don't want to feel stuck when you're growing, right? You're growing, but your structure is fixed. It's like the relationship's fixed, or your religion is fixed, and you're kind of expanding bigger than it. Do that, I guess, is what I want to say. But we'll have a look at what the Hermit says. It says, seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. I feel like that's fine if that's it, but this feels like don't just accept the box. Break out of the box. Look, you know that saying, look outside of the box, think outside of the box. It's almost like live outside of the box, because you don't live in boxes. We're not things to be put away in boxes. Shadow is withdraws from society out of fear of negative judgment of others, refusing to help those in need. I don't think it's refusing help those, but I do feel like there's an aspect of worry about other people's opinions. It's easy for me to say, just don't worry about it, right? But you have to go with what feels right. That's why you've got that surround yourself with protective energy. To me, it just feels like saying, you know, I'm going to take today as it comes. I'm not going to let the past impact me today. I'm going to go in with an open mind, an open heart, and see what comes through. Whatever comes through, I'll be able to deal with whatever comes through. It's like a really weird thing to say, but that's kind of how it feels. It's like just taking every day one step at a time. Okay, I want to take you as well. You and you? Okay. Alright, we'll go with this. Okay, so message from yourself to yourself. Stability, I like that. Ace of Pentacles, yes, yes, yes. Six of Cups, well, we know that. And Five of Wands. Okay, cool. Oh, interesting. It does feel like, with like just looking at it from the outside looking in, at all the cards laid out in front of me, it does feel like there is certain things, either from the past, especially with the Six of Cups, for most of you, I'm going to say the past, that has kind of kept you stuck inside a box or felt like you couldn't move out of rigidity. This could be a relationship with yourself. This could be a relationship with someone else, like a parent. It could be even your relationship with God, right? Like your relationship with the divine. So that's tough. And there's been a lot of like either external or internal conflict in a way, or difficulties. But I feel like you have to go your own way, because that's the only way that this flips up and you find peace of mind. It doesn't mean you move away and get out of this situation, then everything's like, you know, peaches and cream or whatever. I don't know why that came up, but just like, you know, it's not going to be like, oh, rosy. But it is a step towards empowering self so that you can get to that goal. Change. I want to say something. It's like change is never. What is it? Change is never easy, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's messy and ugly, but it's necessary because you don't want to. Like, I love the Hermit card, but this one, I'm like, this isn't you. This is this stable, self-empowering, strong, connected person to self. And if it's not right now, it's the path forward for you. By not just being too structured though, right? Too rigid. There's still that rebel spirit, or like, it's not like animal spirit, but it kind of is like a rebel animal spirit within you. Always look after yourself though with this card, especially with the Five of Wands. Make sure you are safe and you have escape, a way to exit whatever this is about safely. But do it. It's well worth than feeling stuck here in this constant mental kind of like turmoil, I guess, or this constant disharmony, kind of imbalance. I think I did in a reading yesterday when I was doing my stream on Twitch. I had like a birthday recently, so I did a birthday stream, and it was like being fine with a relationship being like this, like, because it was stable, right? It's not moving. It's like there's a lot of weight here, but there's very little here, but somehow it's still balanced. And it's like, no, that might work for a time, but it's imbalanced, because if you start to move things, it starts to like flick too far. It flicks wildly. Whereas like here, if things start moving, it goes like this, and that's life. Things move backwards and forwards and up and down. But if we're like this, we're like whom, whom, whom. Do you know what I mean? I want to pull a Starlight card because I think that'll help sum this up. I wasn't going to use these cards for this reading, but they were just sitting there. But I think that's how you get, like, relief in your life. And your higher self, yourself, really wanted to bring that through. So we'll sum up the reading with this card. We'll see if it actually does resonate. And you've got the moon with take time to reflect. I will say this for sure. Give yourself the space to understand and plan your way forward, because you don't want to be in a constant battle here. But the moon with the Six of Cups is reflection in a sense. It's like the past or memories, someone from the past popping back up into your life can also be that. So you don't want someone else's energy putting you into a box, or you putting yourself in a box to protect yourself. It's time to be your own kind of savior, I guess. What an interesting reading. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. This was another deep one. These readings were deep. I didn't necessarily expect them to be. I just was like, what reading do I do today? A message from yourself to yourself, about yourself, for yourself. And it was like, for yourself. And I was like, okay, get it, guys, like, chill. I'll do this reading. And it was very deep. So hopefully this has helped. Let me know if you have any questions. But take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading.